Erin, join me on stage. Mike Brenner, ladies and gentlemen, right here. I'd also like, I hope she's still there. Darcie, would you join us on stage too, please? If you're out there still? There you are. Hi. It's Darcie Molina, everybody. Darcie called me or texted me and was like, I think I'm going to come to all the shows. She lives in London. And I was like, oh yeah, please do. And then she was like, and I asked her, I was like, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but do you want to sing something? She's like, well, not really. And then she was like, but what about Q&A? So here we are. Welcome to the Q&A portion of the Encore, featuring Erin Osmon Darcie Molina and the Magnolia Electric Company. And I'll say it, just the ground rules. If you've seen Shellac, you know. Ask us anything, but ask us the question in as pithy a way as possible. Okay? Who's first? Who's got a question? I know I'm putting you on the spot. What questions do you have? You don't have to have any. Best show experience. That's a good one. We've been answering that one quite a bit. I want to ask Darcie. Darcie, what was the best show experience you had watching Jason play?
I really liked it when he yelled at his fans, which he did a lot. And one of my favorite Jason yelling and his fan stories was it was a show in Bloomington, which is where we lived at, which is
we're in Bloomington now.
Great town. That's where we lived at the time. This is like a hometown show. And people were talking, which I don't know if you've been to any shows where people have been talking while Jason's trying to play, but it doesn't go well. And so he said, I know I didn't come as far as you people from Assholeville, but I think I deserve a little fucking respect.
I'll go with that. The time we were in D.C. playing at the Black Cat, and Mikey and Jason and I went to an Ethiopian place recommended to us by the club. And we decided to go with the spicy meal. Mikey and I were really into it. And Jason, there were multiple moments in my time in the band with Jason where I was like, oh, yeah, this stuff's really good. And you'd pour like the whole bottle of hot sauce on something and then just be in terrible pain. And I'd feel so bad for it. Anyway, this was the same thing, right? We picked a spicy. We're playing at the Black Cat, and like he's just like, I can't do this. It's too spicy. And he gives his wallet to somebody in the front row and asks them to buy him a ginger beer at the bar to get this. Just gives his wallet to the person in the front. Here you go, man. Please give me a ginger beer. I mean, we played some good shows too, but there was those moments like, God, that's cool. Question. Anybody? Okay. Any other questions?
I heard some more.
Go ahead. There were more. Yeah, somebody else asked. Well, Chris asked. Okay, you can just yell it out.
For Erin, what was the most challenging thing about writing the book?
There it is.
That's a good question. I'd say two things. Just like logistically, Jason shuffled bandmates like a deck of cards. So tracing everyone from the beginning through the end was quite a challenge. And then also tracing all the tour dates because he toured extensively. There were so many. So that was a lot of cross-referencing and fact-checking, research. But obviously, the last couple of years of Jason's life were quite tragic, and living with the details of that and having to revisit them constantly, I think, was really hard, very challenging emotionally. But one thing that came out of that was the really beautiful story of friendship that Jason had, and everything that these people on the stage and lots of other people in Chicago and elsewhere did to try to help him, and that kind of helped counterbalance the sadness of it.
Yeah. Thank you, Erin. We sent her something like 20, how many thousands of emails did we send you?
Many thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's 9,000 emails between Jason Molina and us.
At one point, I had them all printed out and tacked up on my walls like I was figuring out a crime or something.
Question? Oh, great question. What is the title of the book? Erin, would you like to answer?
It's called Writing with the Ghost. So I think that's one of Jason's more profound observations on the human condition, and I felt it was appropriate for a book about his life.
Questions?
To your left.
You can just shout them out.
Yeah, you can just shout them out. Okay. As a prisoner of pain? So she, to sum up, she has alcoholism in her family. She thought it was a tragic story that when Jason revealed that he was in rehab and people were sending him letters, he wasn't receiving those letters. She asked us if we saw him as a person who was a prisoner of pain. It's so hard. It's one of the reasons why it took a while for us to realize what was going on, maybe. Because I didn't see him that way. Darcie, of course, had more insight on that.
I don't know. I mean, he certainly had long-term depression issues. So in that way was definitely, mental illness is, I guess, some people would see that as some sort of prison, but he was able to fight against that for a long time.
Yeah, he did tell me on that tour, that first tour, was driving Pete's van, and he was sitting in the passenger seat, and I was like, man, thank you so much for letting me be in the band, for being friends. It's great. And he's like, hey, you always have a place in the band. Like, yeah, but like it's really cool that we get to like hang out, be friends. It's like, hey man, friends leave you, but bandmates never leave you. And that kind of emotion, like he would overthink things like that even on stage, and it was kind of tough to deal with. I think that was just a glimpse into that process that he was fighting against. So he would surround himself with people who he trusted to keep that space away in the band side of things.
Yeah. And I think in addition, if he had any aspects of being a prisoner of pain, they were balanced out by being a prisoner of silliness, ridiculousness, and penis drawings.
Penis drawings.
So many, you guys.
Wouldn't believe it. We would play a song like Hold On Magnolia, and I think he would get overwhelmed with like the people who might like be crying in front of him, and then do like the Meatwad impression on stage in Europe where they don't know what's going, it's like no context, like that was sad, and now I feel really weird. Did he agonize over the lyrics? It's gonna be hard because what do you think? He would write all the time,
Yeah.
and
I don't know if he would really agonize a lot. There's a lot of notebooks left that he would leave in the van, and I mean he would sit and write a lot. I mean, he would get up early in the morning, even after a late night show, and he would go sit somewhere and he would write lyrics, or he would sometimes grab books of poetry on the road and sit around and write things. I don't know if he really agonized. He talked a lot about that. In a lot of ways, this was our job. This is what we did, and so he approached it of just writing out lyrics and writing out a lot of them, and then sifting through it and figuring out what he really, what felt the best to him out of that. So I don't know if I would call it agonizing, but
I think all that's true. The only thing I want to add is he wanted them to be right, but by the other side of the token, take to take, he would change things, change phrasing, even change whole words or phrases. If you watch the Recording Josephine movie, you'll see some of that. And we would do a couple takes, and they'd be. He just would say, like, we would listen back, and he something about it wouldn't feel right. So that's partly what led us to record the same song for 4 sessions, and it wouldn't come out till it felt right to him. And I think sometimes that was lyrically too, because so much stuff was off the cuff, even though there were written lyrics. That if the energy of that take or whatever, the phrasing came out a little different, he would table it, and that was a little bit of, I don't know his full formula about thinking about it, but that stuff was going on.
You mentioned the Hank Williams cleanup of the band. What other major
What other major, what was the word? Influences. Man, he would hate that question. Black Sabbath, Randy Rhoads. Man, Erin, Erin came to hang out in the research triangle with us in Raleigh. And I have a lot, I've been dispersing a lot of Jason's stuff. Darcie sent it to me from London, and like we passed out stuff after he died, and there was some family stuff, including a letter from the Ozzy Osbourne fan club. It was so amazing. I can't really, you have a scan of it. I think I scanned it for you. Like,
Yeah, so Jason was a massive Black Sabbath fan, and he claims, so when Jason's mother was pregnant with him, his father would put headphones on her belly and play some of his favorite songs to Jason, including Black Sabbath. So he would tell people that Black Sabbath was his first concert. But when he was about 14 or 15, he wrote a fan letter to Ozzy, and at the time, Ozzy didn't have a fan club, but Jason didn't know that. But Ozzy wrote back to him, and he saved the letter his entire life.
yeah. That, and you like Tank? What do you listen to at home?
George Jones.
Yeah.
Warren Zevon.
Yeah. Jerry Rafferty. It was the first Magnolia Electric Company tour, when the band was named that, the 7 of us in this van, and he brought, what is the name of that Jerry Rafferty record? The one with Baker Street on it. Yes. And thank you. And we're in this rented Ford Econoline outside of some Radisson in Boston, and I remember Brenner and I were in the van, and Jason was driving that day, and he turns the van on. It's like 7:30 in the morning, and it's so, like, Baker Street is so loud, like, and you know the one I'm talking about, like that is like, and Brenner's sitting there, and he's just like, we're so tired, we slept for like 3 hours, and he's just like shaking his head, and finally he's like, please turn it down. But then we ended up listening to that and The Darkness for the entire trip to New York that day. Which were 2 big hits on that. But that Jerry Rafferty record was always in the van in some way or another. CD, tape, whatever we could find. As well as Excitable Boy by Warren Zevon.
I also really like Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, it could get pretty random.
He bought that fucking Black Eyed Peas record when My Humps came out. So mad at him. We were in Memphis. He went to some mall in downtown Memphis and bought that record and made us listen to it. Wasn't it? And in the Gwen Stefani record too. That first.
Avril Lavigne.
Oh yeah, totally Avril. He loved Avril. We all did. Man. We almost convinced him to do My Happy Ending at a show in Champaign, Illinois. We couldn't stop playing that record in the van. It was awesome. All right, so Mike and Mark have to drive back to Philadelphia tonight, so we should probably have one more question. Yes? Our favorite memory of Jason? To be a short one. There are a lot.
running into the Mediterranean naked?
Oh my God, Mike. God, yeah. We're playing in Spain, and Mike and I are standing on the shore while Jason says, let's get in there. And he just strips off all of his clothes, and so does Mark, and so does Mikey, and they just run into the Mediterranean under a full moon. And we're just standing there, and Mike's like, man, that is beautiful. Totally was. Like it was like we were like admiring our children doing like going off and I'm glad he asked me to be in his band. I'm really glad. And I got to go see, he and I held arm in arm, kind of crying, watching Brian Wilson perform God Only Knows at a festival together. Because Darcie and Jason were at my wedding, and I cried the whole time, and that was the song that came on, and I was like, I gotta go see this, and he went with me and just cried with me while that happened. That's one of my favorite memories. There's a lot, man. There's a lot, and thank you for asking that question. Darcie, thank you so much for coming and going on this tour with us.
Thank you for doing it.
She's awesome. Erin, thank you for writing the book. Thank you for talking to all of us forever and trying to put all this stuff together. And Dan actually putting it together. Thank you all so much for being here tonight.